as relapse. Well, before we get into that, I kind of want to ask, I had another question that was at the tip of my tongue regarding that. Dang it. I don't remember. I'll have to think about that. Why do you think the relapse rate is so high? You know, when yeah, especially, teens, going in and out of rehab. What's your opinion on that?
So it's multifaceted for one thing. When you're dealing with an adolescent and you're putting them in rehab or therapy or
You can answer it.
Yes, we test twice a week at the high school.
Is it also random? Do you do 7 sticks?
Yes.
Are you serious? So every student picks a stick, and if they have one with a dot on it, then they have to be tested.
Their names are on the sticks. So we pull their name, then they test.
Wow.
And our testing policy is not about punishment, it's about support. We don't kick a kid out if they relapse. We're going to look and see what's going on, what we're going to support. We don't punish.
Very cool. And then as far as support, not punish, what happens? Do they get extra attention or?
Yeah, we do relapse autopsy with them and really go into great depth about what happened before, during, after, points that they could have made different choices, that kind of thing. And then we do have a level system here. And so we will move them down a level for about 10 days, just so that they can kind of reset, do a little, maybe some we're 12-step based program. So they might do some step work. So we're private to that question.
Awesome. And then that kind of runs into the question that I just asked. So go ahead and continue.
So, I kind of liken when you send a kid to treatment and they come home. It's like, imagine if, like a claw machine came down and picked you up by your head and dumped you into China and said, find your way home. You don't speak the language. You don't have a roadmap. You don't know who to talk to. You don't know who's safe. You don't know who's not safe. And so your road home is going to be hard, right? It's hard. And that's what we're expecting these teens to do. We're expecting these teens to come back from treatment if they've gone to treatment. They do have skills and they've learned a lot in treatment. But when you dump them right in the middle of life, it's hard. It's hard. The substances are everywhere. Acceptance is the number one part of adolescence. They're looking for acceptance. They're looking to have their peer group, parents, their opinions, thoughts, and wants are second to peers. Peers are everything to these kids. And so if they don't have a program such as ours to go to, where they have a built-in group of friends and peers who are in recovery and who support their recovery, the chances of them staying sober are very, very minimal. Research shows that, especially with adolescents, first of all, anything less than 90 days is not very effective at all. So 30-day rehabs, 45-day rehabs, it's better than nothing, but they need a minimum of 90 days. And then when they leave
No kidding. No kidding.
There's a lot to do with it.
How much does insurance cover? Does insurance cover ever 90?
No.
No shit. Wow, that made my heart hurt.
Yeah.
Oof.
There's a lot of barriers. Heavy. There's a lot of barriers to getting your child help, and financial is one of them. When I sent my son to treatment, that was in 1990. I don't know. I can't remember. 93, 94. And we paid $16,000 for 4 months, and that was cheap. That was very inexpensive, and our insurance didn't pay a dime of it. Insurance is really tricky with substance abuse treatment. And that's a huge barrier. So a lot of kids are they're flying blind, very little support, very little help. Most states have a YPAW, which is Young People in AA group. Here it's OKPAW, Oklahoma Young People in AA. And so if they can get plugged into like an OKI or a YPAW, that's helpful. IOPs are helpful, intensive outpatient programs, if you can find one. Those are helpful. Solid therapist is helpful. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that these are children using substances that are extremely dangerous, that impact their brain function, that impact their, they started using when they were 13. That's when their emotional development stopped. So maybe chronologically your kid's 18, but, mentally and emotionally, you're looking at a 13-year-old. So we're asking a lot of our teens, a lot.
Yeah.
And it's hard. And that's why I think the relapse rate is so high. There's other factors. It's like, I rarely do I have a kid that's like, oh yay, I'm going to treatment. They don't want to go.
Yeah.
They're scared to death. They don't have any idea what that life is that they're facing. And people in recovery understand that you're not ready till you're ready. And a lot of these teens, they're not ready. They still have a bottom left.
Yeah.
So we feel like a big part of it is just letting them, we give them the map, they know where to go. They know what to do for help. They know where it's located. And that's really,
awesome.
That's the best that we can do.
That's awesome. As far as when these young adults leave and they graduate,
Mm-hmm.
what do you suggest for them? Do you suggest like an AA, like a weekly, daily AA, or what do you kind of?
Yeah.
What's the next step?
We really encourage them to find their own recovery community outside of us. As they process through our program, ratio of boys to girls, it so varies. For like a whole year, we had 8 boys and 1 girl. It was like The Bachelor or Bachelorette. It was bad. Right now we have 6 boys and 2 girls. So it just varies. It's just kind of whatever we get. It's what we got. And I forgot what I was saying. I lost track.
I don't remember either. If you could think about one thing that you could change in the world of addiction, what would it be?
I think the main thing I would change is the way people view addiction, and especially addiction in adolescence, because a lot of people view adolescent addiction as a phase or stage or not a big deal. It's a huge deal. Our children are dying. I would sum it up. I would want people to see and to understand that this is a disease. It's not a choice. It needs to be treated as a disease. It needs to be approached with the disease model. Insurance companies need to treat it just like what it is, which is a disease, a deadly disease. It's not a moral issue. It's not a willpower issue. It is a disease. And it needs to be treated that way, viewed that way, and approached that way, especially by the medical community.
Absolutely. As far as these kids in your care, is this a regular school day? Like they're with you from 9 to 5 or something? Or how does that work for them? Okay.
So their school day, they get here about 8:30. I do group with them from about 8:30 to 8:45. We just do check-in group, take their spiritual temp, see what's going on, send them on to school. Within the school day, they do all kinds of cool stuff. We're very heavy on art. So we have partnership with some of the art places here. They do a lot of art, a lot of music, a lot of enrichment, but it's structured just like a school day. But then on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, oh, thank you. Yes. Okay. I'm going to remember that. Life after they leave. Then those 4 days are the recovery aspect. And that usually goes Mondays and Fridays. It goes until like 6:30. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, it's till 5. So it's a pretty long day. So life after they leave us, you know, the ideal is that they have a solid recovery community underneath them. Our door's always open. In fact, I looked up a minute ago, and a kiddo who graduated last year was here, like waving at me. So, you know, if they're sober, they can come back anytime. If they're not sober, as long as they're not high, they can still come back and see us.
Yes.
So after they leave here, you know, we always tell them we're like the Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. We're always here. You know, we're always here for support. And they all have different paths. You know, of our graduating class this last time, you know, one relapsed and is still not doing well. One is two of them are in college and doing very well. So it just kind of depends. You know, we have students that have died when they've left us. We have students who have, you know, gone on college, become teachers, funeral directors, therapists, moms, dads. Two that I know of right now are in the military, doing really, really well, you know, progressing well. So it just kind of depends on the kiddo. But one thing that they know when they walk out that door is that we're here for them no matter what, no matter when.
That's great.
So, yeah.
That's great. So as far as you and your story, how do you decide to show up for your world? You know, I know that you've got your own stuff, your own journey with all of this stuff. How do you show up for your world? How do you show up for your son?
With compassion and gratitude. You know, I have a lot of compassion in the world for people who are dealing with this in their home and in their lives. And I have nothing but gratitude for my son for for what recovery gave him, and in turn, you know, gave our family, because it gave us our family back. And that's why I do what I do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it must feel so good when you have parents come back and are so happy.
It's good stuff. I don't think I mentioned one component of our program is we do have a very strong parent support program.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, our Monday evenings it's a parent group. So we meet as a family group, and then they divide out. The kids do a 12-step group, and the parents do a parent recovery group. We have a parent recovery coach who is a mom that their kiddo came through our program. In fact, he used to work for us. So he came through the program. His mom worked for us. He worked for us. So good stuff. And that parent recovery coach is available to our parents at any time. You know, they can call her, they can text her, and she's available. And we also have a mom's Al-Anon meeting on Thursday nights that she leads. So, you know, we do a lot with the parents because that's really the key.
Absolutely. As far as you know, catching your child at a younger age with all of this, and not walking around with like rose-colored glasses, because just using my own experience, and I have no problem saying this, but like, you know, in my eyes, my son is amazing, and he would never do something like that. So I think using my own experience, I would definitely have some um some issues with thinking that there was ever a problem, even if it was staring me dead in the face. And you know, as far as when you're confronting your children, as far as having those open conversations with them, do you feel as if catching them at this younger age is like key to long-term sobriety?
It
Or
is
does it really not
actually.
matter? Yeah.
So no, it's critical.
Okay.
So first of all, some of the most amazing, brilliant, beautiful humans I know, precious people, are addicts. You know,
Wow.
addicts are beautiful people that are struggling.
Yeah.
Gosh darn my brain. It fell off the hamster wheel again. What did you
We
ask
were
me?
talking about how young, if
Oh,
it's
yeah, yeah,
better
yeah.
to catch them
Yeah.
when they're young.
Yeah. I'm actually, when I get done here, I've got another presentation that I'm going to a group of high school parents. And one of the statistics in that was something like 75% of adults over the age of 24 in treatment report that their using started at the age right around the age of 14 or 15.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
That's a big
critical.
percentage.
Yeah. I think it was something like 15% of girls age 20 that started using marijuana in particular at the age 13, 14, 15 reported a higher level of clinical depression than girls that did not. So, I mean, you're talking about their brain, a
Yeah.
developing brain, and there's long-term impact. So I am
Absolutely.
very, very strong advocate for early intervention. The earlier, the better.
Absolutely. Now, if we have parents watching right now live or right now on the replay, and they're looking for some sort of support, like to ask questions, to like, dig a little deeper, where should they go? Where should they be looking other than like a Google search?
So every state has their Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. So that website is usually a pretty good resource. They'll have
Okay.
a lot of a listing of programs and a listing of options and things that your kiddo can access. And I don't know about nationally, but in our state, we have a group called Parents Helping Parents, and it meets. I actually did a live with them last night, and it meets multiple times throughout the week, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just parents helping parents. It's like a support group of parents who are dealing with this in their home. Adolescents and adult children. So it's all ages. NAMI is a good option. The National Association of Mental Health, and school resources, the school
Schools.
counselors, they may have like an
Okay.
idea of where to go and what to do and different types of programs. And sometimes, Google is your best friend.
Yeah,
So
100%. And then
you just
what's
have
the
to look.
capacity what's the capacity at your school?
So for the actual high school, 15 is our max. And
Okay.
then for the alternative peer group, so if the kids are in the high school, then they have to go to APG. It's required. You have to do both. No other way around it. And then, but on the flip side, students can go to their regular high school. Some of them are even homeschooled, and they can attend our APG. So APG, we can have 20 kids,
Okay.
whatever we've got space for, we can do.
Okay. So if somebody listening, was interested in sending their child to this school, so this is like an actual school. So they would have to live in your state to go to your school.
Yeah, to be able to come to our school, they have to be able to transport their kiddo here and back.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
within about we've had parents who've, no joke, driven an hour and a half, both like drove their
Okay.
kid here, go home, come back out, go back home. So they're on the road 6 hours a day.
Got it. And then how
Just,
many schools are there? I know there's not a lot that do what you're doing.
there's none in Oklahoma, and nationally, I think nationally there's something like 40, 44,
Yeah.
45. We kind of are modeled off of a school in Houston that started, it's called Arch. And they do things a little bit differently than we do. They're affiliated with the public schools, and we're not. We're pure private, but they're kind of like the OG of these types of schools. I know there's several opening on the East Coast, so it's something that's needed,
Yeah.
badly needed, for these kids to have a safe place to be. But yeah, there's not
Absolutely.
many. One of
Yeah,
the other things that I
absolutely.
do is like drug and alcohol assessments for the community at large as well.
Okay. Very cool. What are you grateful for most right now in your life?
Oh man, I think right now I'm really grateful for the peace that I have. Um, you and I met, you know how we met. And
Yes.
so in a very strange way.
Yes.
Um, but the peace I have in my life right now has been very hard fought for,
That's
and
great.
it's precious, and I protect it at all costs. So I have a lot of gratitude for the peace that I have in my life.
That's great. I so appreciate you coming on here. I know that you've got a gazillion things going on all at once. It sounds like you have something going on this afternoon even. So I appreciate you taking some of your time out of your day to sit down with us and
So
hang
happy to
out
be
with
here.
us. If anyone wanted to reach out to you, where can they find you?
They can go on our website. It is teenrecoverysolutions.org. And my phone number is on there and my email. So feel free. Wherever you are in the United States or the world, feel free to reach out.
Is that
And
right?
I'll answer questions and give all the support I can.
Yes, yes. And I wanted to ask you one last
Mhm.
question. We still have quite a few people here watching live. What is some advice? I'm assuming that anyone here listening is either dealing with this or has dealt with this or is, um, friend of a friend. So, what is some advice you would give to parents right now watching who are just now realizing that their child is entering the world of addiction? What should they be doing?
The earlier the intervention, the better. Don't don't be in denial. Don't be in denial. Don't wait until it gets worse. Don't fool yourself. You're entering into a war, and just like with any war, you want to strike early and strike hard. Kid might get mad at you. Guess what? It's okay. It's perfectly okay for your child to get mad. They'll get over it. And
Thank you for saying that because sometimes we get nervous.
yeah, yeah. When I see kids like that in a home, I'm like, you're a freaking terrorist. You're holding your parents hostage, and it's not okay. Be okay with your kid being mad at you.
Yeah,
It's gonna
it's so
happen.
uncomfortable.
You know what's even more uncomfortable? Going to your kid's funeral when they overdose.
Ah, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you, because that is so true.
You can love your child to death. Remember that.
Yeah,
Literally love your child to death.
absolutely.
They must have consequences for their choices. They must.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. Sometimes we need a reminder because we feel like we're the only bad guy. So thank you.
When it's done out of love and protection, there's nothing bad about it.
Yes, yes, 100%. Well, this has been fantastic. I appreciate everything that you said, everything that you are, everything that you stand for. Do you have any closing thoughts before I close up here?
Just thank you for letting me come on and talk about this. It's a subject that's not really discussed much because people don't really like to
Yep.
face it. So thank you for letting me be a voice.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I certainly hope to have you on again in the future.
You bet.
Her version is constantly looking for new topics and new things that aren't necessarily talked about often. We love touching on the taboo topics and the difficult to talk about topics, and we appreciate ladies like you who are coming on and breaking through and opening up for those of us that are a little bit more nervous and reserved on that end. So thank you for everything that you're doing over there. Thank you for all of the lives that you're changing and for getting the help that your son needed. Getting the help that your son needed. That's great. So, thank you so much for joining us here on Her Version. If you have an amazing story to share of Struggle to Triumph, be sure to reach out to me here or at herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others. Do something awesome today. Much love.